live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
There's a huge plot device in this one that turns into something amazing. This is Friday the 13th, 1980.
Friday the 13th.
A group of camp counselors are stalked and murdered by an unknown assailant while trying to reopen a summer camp, which years before was the site of a child's drowning.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This film.
And I'm so glad you said that.
Okay, here we go.
This is the important movie because it's so early, 1980.
This is 1980.
Yes.
And I'm going to say something that's going to piss you off.
No, it won't.
But okay,
go ahead.
This blows Halloween out of the water.
I don't think so because they
totally.
Do you realize that Halloween came out before this one and a lot of things? I think Halloween's a better movie. This is a better slasher film. This is amazing.
This is the beginning. This is Texas
aside from Kevin Bacon's neck not really matching his skin tone, but it's an amazing movie.
It's an amazing movie.
I don't know.
It really is.
I like this one.
It does. I like it. It's. You know what's great about it though, and this is the weird thing. The greatest thing about it is it actually had an actual plot.
Yes,
it was really cool in that respect.
Well, I mentioned plot device. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The plot device was the kid drowning.
Exactly.
Because he wasn't even supposed to be. It was supposed to be just about the mom.
Right. And that
turned into a whole series.
That made it
I can't breathe.
Made the very, very end of it really amazing because then I'm not going to say what happened then, but
why not? This was in 1980. You can say everything you want about it.
So then the kid jumps out of the water and drowns her, and that was supposed to be years ago.
He's still there.
Tenacious little dead kid.
I thought the plot for me was like I didn't really care that much. I did really like when the mom revealed herself, though. That was amazing. The part where she came out.
It's just like, but then it doesn't follow because Jason isn't a mystical creature in this. You know, he's the mom, right?
Yeah, he's the mom, yeah.
And
but you don't know that until
you don't know that until later.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is you don't know that until later.
And you don't see you don't see him except for the back of.
Right. It's
see the ring, the class ring.
One thing I was going to say about it is that there was a lot of POV shots in this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, they were everywhere.
I actually wrote POV shots up the. That was one of my notes.
Exactly, as well it should.
But POV shots are very important in Friday the 13th movies. If you've watched any of them, I mean, just saying, it's all over the place.
No, they really are. But here's the thing:
which they use in Halloween, by the way. Wink, wink. Just so you know.
Yeah. Wink. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And the thing that's interesting is you have to think of it from the ones that I have seen. I've seen them in this order. I've seen 5 first, then I saw 6.
Right.
Okay. And then I saw this one. So in that broken up order, what I'm surprised is that actually very few of the tropes that were used in those things that had become, standard for the series just weren't there. I mean, obviously the hockey mask wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
The machete wasn't really there, and
you also see him a lot in the later movies.
Right, and you see him a lot in the later movies.
Especially Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, well, anyway. And then there's the overuse of the over the top POV shots. And the thing is it's got to be a person.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing is immediately one thing that I did know is that it had to be a person, and it had to be a person that people recognized.
Right. Yep.
Because the second time. Because
what are you doing here?
Oh, what are you doing here?
Right. Oh, one thing I noticed that there were some kills that were off camera, which I forgot.
Oh yeah.
So I hadn't seen this movie for I saw the Friday the 13th movies starting in junior high through high school. My friends and I just rented them.
Right.
As they came out, kind of a couple years later.
Right.
I don't think I saw you in the theater till later. But I forgot that they were off the screen kills. And there's the archery range one where the girl was there and then she screams off screen. Right. And the other one was
him in the bed.
The knife to the belly to the guy.
Yeah.
The camp guy.
Well, the guy that gets his...
Well, you don't see the knife go into the guy. You don't talk about he comes back to the camp, Steve, the guy that owns the place. Or
Right.
He gets like knifed to the belly, but you don't actually see it. You just see him go,
but the other one is the guy that was laying on the bed.
Oh, Kevin Bacon.
What's that?
Yeah, Kevin Bacon.
You don't see him get his...
That's what I'm talking about. I noticed that the neck didn't match his head.
Oh.
But it was like greenish kind of color. I'm like, they could have done a little more work on that. But
by the way, who did that work?
Tom Savini.
Yeah,
I wrote that down too.
See,
right there.
That's another thing. Is this was shot in New Jersey? This was East Coast.
Did you know that they only had to build one thing? The set was pretty much all there.
Pretty sure
the bathroom. That's all they had to build.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I definitely noticed is the age of the place.
Yeah.
Like the wood was scarred with people's names that had written. So it was
right.
Obviously
it was definitely
an
a camp.
Existing camp.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody would have had the time. I mean, you can do that and you can really spend your time on that stuff, but boy, it's super consuming.
Did you notice that it seemed like there weren't any curtains in the windows until like the last couple scenes?
Yeah. Right.
They just kind of appeared from nowhere, I noticed.
Appeared from nowhere so that she could use them.
Right. So that was funny. Oh, is there a 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon with Mick Strawn? Have you ever played that game with yourself? Have you ever played with yourself?
I can't remember what it is, but I'm 2 degrees out.
So you've never played with yourself?
No, well...
No, so you're 2 degrees out.
Oh, of course I'm 2 degrees out.
We'll have to figure that out.
Or 1 degree... Well, Well, we'll go into it later.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go in.
Think about it. In the back of
I've looked at it, and it's like boom, boom, right? 2 steps. 1, 2. I mean, I know that he's been in a film with Robert Englund.
Yeah.
And Robert's a friend of mine, and that's boom, boom, boom.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
As tight as it's going to get.
That's pretty good. Anyway, back to the movie.
Well, I really like the dialogue with the guy and the look of the town, and the riding up in the tanker truck.
Yeah,
with the girl. There was great dialogue between the two of them.
She was a horrible actress though, but other than that,
yeah, but
she didn't need to be good.
The great thing about her is she didn't need to be it.
He was good. Yeah,
it was dialogue that stilted dialogue that you would have in a truck.
With a creepy guy.
With a creepy guy, yeah. It was totally right on.
So did you feel like the first 15 minutes or so I felt like it dragged on a little bit at the beginning?
Oh, I didn't at all.
And then finally when it started happening, it was about every 10 minutes somebody got killed.
Yeah, I enjoyed looking at the town, getting a look at the camp, seeing that truck drive with her and stuff. That
was a cool truck too.
It was great, and the truck was great.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I was a kid, or not when I was a kid, but when I was like maybe, well, I was actually married. It was in that 9 months that I was married the first time. And I went with that person, practice wife. I went to Arizona, where her sister lived at the base of the Grand Canyon at Flagstaff, and they used to run and she used to bartend at night, and her boyfriend drove one of those trucks, the water truck, up to the Ridge Canyon station at the top, and he did it like twice a week, and I ran it with him, and it was an old truck just like that. It looked exactly like that one, and I have to tell you,
it's been rough.
Going up was cool, because we were full, right? I mean, it was slow, but it was really cool. But coming back down with that empty truck, oh man,
it bounced like crazy.
Oh, it bounced and it just that.
It's like it'd be jarring, like
and the bizarre and horrible irregularity of getting kicked and hit and hit like that really wears on you, man. I mean, I think to come back down, it took an hour and a half to get up and maybe an hour to get down. And
oh my gosh.
it was my kidneys have not recovered yet.
So what did you think the best kills were? Because there were some pretty good ones.
Through the neck.
Oh, where he sliced the neck?
No.
There was one where the blade looked really real to me.
Yeah, through the neck with the
arrow. That was a good one.
That was really cool. That was really cool.
The axe to the head was kind of funny. I mean, because I've seen that many times, but that was interesting.
The axe.
I mean, I thought that was more funny than it was good.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
The thing about the axe head is that it didn't all look real.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't believe that was an axe. That was an axe.
Right.
You didn't believe that.
And the way she had her tongue kind of like.
Yeah. It was like, that's that was a true Tom Savini though.
Yeah.
His beginning stuff was pretty.
And there was actually he did what was the one he did before? It was Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's why they wanted him for this one, probably.
Right, well, it's East Coast,
obviously,
because they're both East Coast.
Right.
Tom Savini was never a West Coast guy.
Did he do anything with Evil Dead?
I think 95% of what he did.
He liked the Dead things. Dawn of the Dead. Did he do Evil Dead? For some reason, I'm connecting him with that one for some reason. I might be wrong.
No, I don't think so. But it might have been because they were back east too.
Yeah. But
see, at first, this is funny when she goes, we passed the camp, right? And she's riding in the Jeep. Mm-hmm. The only thing I can think to myself, I was like, hey, Jason owns a Jeep. That's because I didn't know what was coming up. I thought, hey, Jason owns a Jeep.
So there was one thing that I had a problem with. That they both characters drove Jeeps,
and they were both green.
And you had to pay attention to what kind of top one had, and the
tires were different.
Yeah, they're different.
The thing is
in fact, I was watching part of this with my wife, and she's like, "Is that the same Jeep?" And I'm like, "No, it's not."
Exactly what I thought. I was like, "Oh, Jesus."
So that was one thing that was.
Then they put a trailer behind it to make it obvious.
But okay, here's a question. I'm not a mechanic, but if you're driving down the road, does your battery just suddenly die where you can't? Started back up.
Did on that film, batteries were going out left and right.
And then I didn't understand why that happened, why you needed to have the sheriff pick him up and give him a ride. Does that make any sense?
Well, it makes as much sense as this, is I got to thinking after a while that you could get killed with just a POV shot. See what it says? Look, see right there. It says, you can get killed with a POV because it seemed that way. It seemed like you knew somebody was going to die as soon as you saw a POV shot.
Well, one of the best deaths was Never Even Seen, where the guy was stuck to the wall with all the arrows.
Yeah,
or to the door. To the door.
The door was great. Yeah. The door was that was really cool. That was it was well worth seeing. I made a note here that Jason fights like a girl because he was a girl.
So one thing about this is, we've already talked about the script and the acting, but I thought they were both kind of eh. So I was there for the action.
What? Yeah, well, the acting was, yeah.
But the script,
And by the way, how incredibly wooden Kevin Bacon was.
Yes.
Considering that he went on to be...
in every other movie
that existed.
Right.
The weird thing about this one is that when she's talking back to him, he's not doing anything. He's not. He's just.
You're right. Yeah, it was very early
sitting
on.
and staring. It was a little disconcerting to say the least.
No reaction shot.
Well, he wasn't working at having something to do. When he was in the middle of a conversation, he just stopped doing what he was doing and just and wait, and we waited with him for her to stop talking, and then he would talk, and he'd just sit there it's like, wow, what the hell are you doing?
Okay, here's some trivia. There's 11 deaths in this one. One was including a snake.
Yes,
and that was a real snake.
That was a real snake,
and they killed it on screen.
Yeah, and I have to say, that kind of bothered me a little bit. Yeah. I was like, wait, that snake died for a shot?
Yep.
I mean, that's...
Well, the story behind it is that Tom Savini apparently had an incident with the snake in his cabin, so it gave him this idea.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the snake that he found or if it's if he just had the idea and they caught a snake for this reason. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a little. It was kind of a graphic death for the snake. You know?
It was the poor guy.
Boy, yeah.
It was a snuff film. I just realized this. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, PETA. Or
yeah, really. Oh, by the way, did you notice when they had the storm and the lightning? The lightning was obviously done with a bulb. You know, like turning a bulb on and off because it just kind of did that really long.
Yeah.
In fact, here's the weird thing: is you wouldn't have known it was lightning. Except for they said
storms are coming.
Yeah, storms are coming, and then this light bulb goes. Burp,
One hell of a storm is coming. Yes.
Well, that's not much of light. You know.
See, there's theater for you right there.
That is theater, but here's the thing. This is how we did lightning back in the day, though. Back then, this is before the electric strobe boxes and all the rest of that. You'd take a welder, and you put on a welding mask, and you'd like get the the leather jacket and stuff like this, and you'd stand out there and you'd stand away from everybody and with the old fashioned big welder like this, and you get 2 carbon rods and put them in and then just go
touch them together.
Ding, ding, ding. And it's such a great how should I say it? It's perfect lightning. I mean it really is. It is perfect. But it's also like so, mad scientists. It's a cross between, a garage mechanic gone bad and a mad scientist gone good. Right. It's just the funniest thing to watch. It's great.
I somehow think Ben Franklin would probably enjoy that.
Yeah, he would have.
So did you know that Jason was originally going to be named Josh, but they thought it sounded too nice, so they named him after a real life bully named Jason?
Well,
why not?
What can I say? Yeah. Oh, did you notice that when the girl was getting into the truck, the trucker helped by putting both of his hands on her butt? On her butt.
Yeah. So I watched half of this with my wife because she was just in the room, and she's like, did you notice that?
He got a great
I'm like,
rope.
How could you not notice that?
How could you not? It was like, well, here, let me help you.
She's like, that was creepy.
Yeah, that was way creepy.
Oh, and Victor Miller, did you know that he admitted that he was writing off the success of Halloween? If it wasn't for Halloween, this movie wouldn't have been made.
Oh yeah, I you know what? I think that I knew that at the time.
Well, there might be somebody out there that doesn't know.
Right.
Betsy Palmer, the actress that played Pamela Voorhees, said that it was a piece of when she read the script, and she only did it because she wanted to buy a new car.
Well,
and then years later, she warmed up to it and started doing conventions and stuff, which I thought was amazing. And she only died she died 2 years ago, I think. But
the weird thing is when you're doing this stuff, when you're doing a film, the thing is you have to understand this. You aren't always getting a whole bunch of scripts,
right?
Know? I mean, it can go 3 or 4 months and you don't get a script, and all of a sudden you get a script that comes down. And let me tell you something, that's a great script, no matter what.
Well, she was honest about it, at least. What I like about that is that she actually later on started doing conventions and documentaries and talking about how she became infamous character because obviously
I like that. I mean, I didn't know Nightmare on Elm Street, so I didn't know until 3-4 years ago that they were a thing.
I want to know what Robert Englund thought of Nightmare on Elm Street when he first saw it. Did he love it, or did he think it was
We'll have to ask him sometime,
because isn't that interesting to think about that? Like maybe he almost passed on it.
You have to understand that he did not, that the whole concept was not the man in a mask deal. It wasn't that had been done.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So there was really a new thing being done.
And he was a theater kind of guy, wasn't he?
He was a theater kind of guy.
So this was definitely okay. So maybe he liked it for that reason. I want to know the answer. But
he would have. That I think that he was also a friend with
with
Bob Shea. You know, a lot of those guys were.
Well, I think he told you a story in your book, right?
Yeah.
Kind of how it started, where he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So that was a plug for your book. I was trying to.
That was good. I like that. You know.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I did. You know, and you know what? You know what I'm going to plug?
What's that?
Dream Warrior Review.
Yes.
Subscribe.
This podcast.
This podcast, right, that you're listening to now. If you're not subscribed and you're still listening to this podcast, get a clue, man.
And there's nothing wrong with subscribing. You just get like, hey, we have a new episode. Maybe you listen to it, maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't listen to it.
You
but
can just ignore it.
You're doing us a favor.
You probably have Facebook notifications turned on, so why not have ours?
You're doing us a favor.
You're doing us a solid is what they're doing.
It's a solid. It's a solid. In fact, if we don't get done with this, I'm going to have a solid here right on this chair.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, no, I got to tell you. Okay, let's talk about, talk about it.
Rating?
I liked it a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I would have to.
Actually,
I'm going to put this at a 4. I really.
You said
enjoyed
before we recorded this, I might be surprised by what you say, but
Yeah.
I was like, I actually thought you'd like it because.
Well, you thought I'd like Halloween,
That's true, I did.
and I still don't enjoy Halloween.
Well, this was
But you know
different
what?
than Halloween.
Let me go back.
Because what you didn't like about Halloween, I remember it was spread out too much, and there wasn't anything happening for a very long time.
Right.
This was boom, 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 boom. So I was like,
That's
okay.
what I like. That's what I like. You know, I am going to throw in something. A film that we reviewed that we loved, absolutely loved. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes on it.
Right.
Which
was
one?
pretty low.
Which one? The Peter Jackson.
Oh yeah, Peter Jackson, Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines.
Yeah.
Mortal Engines. Anyway, here's what I wanted to say to Rotten Tomatoes because they stuck it with a 28%. That freaking film was amazing, and I didn't expect it to be anything at all. And it was amazing. It was just amazing. And you, Rotten Tomatoes, can suck it.
Wow.
So what are you going to give it, huh?
Well, I'm still recovering from that.
So I didn't mean to get graphic.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, it was a little slow at the beginning. The script was a little lame, but it didn't really need to be a good script. You don't really need a script anyway. But anyway.
It had a turnaround in it. That was
I agree with what the actress that played Pamela Voorhees.
Oh, shut up.
The script was a piece of but it was a good movie.
Man.
No, actually, I'd rate this pretty high, actually. A high 3, so 3.8.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. And the weird thing is you know, I the first one that I saw of the group was 5,
Right?
And I'm not sure that was. I
don't remember being that excited about 5.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it was one of the best. It was a very conventional horror film. It was kind of by the book all the way across.
Mm-hmm. Paint by numbers.
Paint by numbers horror. Paint by numbers horror. Yeah, on velvet. And it was on velvet. That kind of bothered me. The black velvet thing, you know. But this one, the whole thing looked right. It looked good. You know, it was a good looking film too. It was shot really well.
Yeah. And we didn't even mention the fact that 1980 was a huge year for horror movies, and I forgot where I wrote that. The Shining, The Fog, Motel Hell,
Motel Hell.
Changeling,
Wow.
Altered States. I can't read that one. What does that say? Dress to Kill.
Dress to Kill.
Something. Demon Knight, I think it was. I don't know. Anyway.
Night of the Demons.
But,
no, that was much later.
But so 1980 was a really big film, and of course The Shining. I think didn't The Shining win some awards, like or an award?
yeah. But the Shining broke through into like to
other areas.
Other areas. It was
But that had a plot,
suspense.
and it had good acting.
All those things, and an actual award-winning director.
But yeah, so John Carpenter was all up in 1982. So I just got to point that out because The Fog. I mean, 1980 also, I should say.
Right.
Not 92. But
well, 70 was 78 for Halloween, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this was kind of a what is this?
You know what I was
the beginning of the golden age of horror. That's what I was going to say.
It was the beginning of the golden age of horror. I know. I was deeply involved in it. One thing I did like about this film, and I just wanted to add it in, is the sound.
Yeah.
The loons. They threw loons and frogs and
there's some psycho elements with the music.
And
did you like the?
Yeah, there was definitely. Yeah, that sound that you hear when you're on acid, right? That sound. Yeah, exactly. No, whoever did the sound in that beginning part has done a lot of acid, because that's exactly what that's the background noise to when you're hearing really weird stuff. That stuff's just going on in the background.
Remind me never to do acid. This is not something I want to do.
Remind me not to.
I don't want to experience
that. I have to do a lot more acid. Ever. Never do a lot more acid. So, people. This is it. This is where we're going to have to part ways.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.